I would like it to not end.
with me, your host C2, and my guest, Dr. Yesterday. Some of you may know Dr. Yesterday as a previous, current mod, but previous person in my chat who is in my chat all the time. But he has a lot of things to do. But he does stop in. He does stop in every once in a while. One of my really, really good friends. And we're here. Two-Wave's here. Smokey's here. Let's freaking go. Fun, fun, fun. We're here. We're going to talk about masculine programming and shame. That is on the docket today. We're doing this here on the Trident Network, a 3-pronged digital entertainment network. We do YouTube. We have YouTube shows. Here, I'll link the YouTube. We do YouTube shows. We have pre-recorded shows. This one also goes up on YouTube. We have live shows, which is what you're listening to right now. And we have a bussin' podcast network. So if you really like podcasts, just go to our website, check out the podcasts, because we have them in abundance. And if you ever want to support us, you can sub right here on Twitch. You can sub to our Patreon. Any support helps. Likes, subs on YouTube, all of that good stuff. Awesome. That's the Trident business. And here we are. I'm gonna take this off. Here we are having a chat. Me and Dr. Yesterday have a lot of chats. Also, can you hear when he just talks? Can you hear him?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear him talk?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me and
listening?
him?
Are you listening?
Can you hear us okay?
Can you hear us? Hello?
We're gonna keep talking. But if we should go closer to the mic. We'll go, yep, cool. Thank you, Smokey. Cool.
All it takes is one.
So I wanted to have a theme that's been coming up in my sphere, and something that I also have worked through recently is, shame. And I think a lot of us deal with shame because we're human beings, and there's a lot of shame programming in the world. But more specifically, it was a masculine version of shame. Like, it was a masculine manifestation of shame, and how that like shows up, and how like the examples of that. And for me, I always like have felt like, even though I am like a lady, I don't have a lot of the like female programming that a lot of my lady friends have. Like, I don't have the caretaker programming. I don't have the like foresight programming like that a lot of like of my lady friends have, where they're on top of everything. They're taking care of everything, and they don't trust anyone to take care of it. And that's the thing that they're working on. For me, a lot of what I was working on, what a lot of men are working on, which is like going through with it, trusting yourself, and then like when you make a mistake, it's okay to make a mistake. You just accept and love yourself and then move through it. And for me, the thing that was not allowing me to move forward was the story about why I was so terrible with whatever it was. And I like that was like a program that I had to uninstall. And it's like a shame program. Like, oh, I'm so bad. Like, I would make a mistake, and then it would be this whole like, I'm so bad. Like, I'm so bad, and I suck. And why am I like this? And I'll never change, whatever. And it was like that. And the pattern was, I couldn't take criticism that was valid at all, in any respect, because I was so stuck on how bad I was. And then I was on TikTok, as you are, as I am. And there was also this trend of like mothers and wives trying to hold their partners accountable and trying to get their partners to be more present within their role as a human being in the relationship. And it was always down to like, the men don't know how to clean and it sucks. Like, it was like that. Mm-hmm. And it was the male response was anywhere from like, I want to learn, to like, why? But this common thing that kept happening was like, I'm so bad. And I would listen to men who were working through their shit on TikTok also spend a really long time harping to themselves about how terrible they were. And that was the thing. Like, that was the focus for the men I found, where the women were like, I need you to help me. And the men were still at the point where they couldn't accept themselves at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know what that is, because it was the same thing for me. So I wanted to talk to you, someone who, I have a lot of masculine programming, and you are one of my man friends who has a lot of feminine programming. And like we meet in the middle and can discuss the masculine programming at hand.
Absolutely. And also, we grew up in the same area, the same type of environment. And I think that a lot of the programming, like, it's regional. You know what I mean? There's not like
That's
one
true.
masculine program and one feminine programming even. Like, it's all out there. And so, yeah, the south side of Chicago programming is very much so like feeding into that element of it. Because where we come from, like, everyone gives each other a hard time. And that can be out of love, certainly, because it's become a love language because it's so ingrained. Yeah! It's just so ingrained in every conversation.
And if you trust someone, they'll give you a hard time.
Yes.
They fuck with you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If somebody's, where we come from a lot of times, if somebody's quiet, they don't like you. If they're making fun of you, they love you.
Yes.
And so, and like, there's a lot to unpack just there, right? And like my cousin who is, like a mental health professional and does a lot of just research for her own stuff on these topics and stuff too. She said something to me the other day when I was visiting her, and she was like, I hate how men's like bonding is just being mean to each other. Yeah. And I was like, like, yeah, I guess it like there is a lot of that centered around that, even in sort of these cliques of people that you wouldn't like think present as masculine or whatever, like they still, everyone gives each other shit. It's just part of it. Yes. And so it's like, where's that coming from, and why are we not okay with just like being kind to each other, or like saying I love you, man, and like, like why does my dad freak out when I hug him?
Why does my dad freak out?
Yeah. But anyways, I don't have a lot of like answers. I just have musings and
but like
reflections
your experience in that
I
sphere.
do have my experience. And so like definitely, I mean, it was constant, and this conversation is happening at a great time where like I have been truly reflective on something. I've been just like I told you before, like putting stuff from like my identity like through the shredder of just like, do I need this? Is this me? Or was this just like a rap album I listened to in 7th grade? You know what I mean? Like, and like all my friends were like, you better like this.
Yeah, you gotta like this.
Yeah,
or you're gay, and we hate that.
Exactly.
And we hate that.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of that. There was as a man.
A lot of fear of being gay.
No, it's not.
No?
Yeah, well, no, you're right.
Well,
yeah,
is it fear? Is it fear not even of that you're gay, but a fear that other people think
of
that you
perceived,
are?
Yes, correct. Yeah. And so, but I think that fear stems from the fear of being gay, like, because
we know how gay people are treated.
Right? Yeah, it's scary. It's
we
like,
know how it
I
is to be queer in America.
Yeah, I don't want to be, like, put through the fucking ringer every day of my life. Yeah.
And especially I see this too, like, especially the violence towards specifically trans women is like really
way more than
is way more, and not that like let's test oppressions, but like like it's not, but it's like I feel it in like the fabric of the way that we move. Like I can hear it in the way that people talk, and I can see it in the way that people like behave in terms of trans women. Whereas like when I like years ago when I started following trans, non-binary trans women, more trans creators, because I was like, oh, they're like becoming more visible and I want to know about their experiences. So I followed them, and as it's so fucking cool. Like I follow so many really great trans creators. But I noticed, like, in my own programming, like, in the back, I started, like, there was this, like, static around specifically trans women, where it was, like, who's a trans woman? Who? And I was like, why is this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Why is this thing? And it's, like, this weird, sudden, all of a sudden, like, and it's, like, I don't know what it's from, obviously. I don't know what it's from. It's from different things from everyone, but it, like, ties into that feeling of, like, if you're a man, like, you can't be anything else besides a man, and this is the way to be a man, or like there's ways to be a man, and if you're not that, that's terrible, you're a freak or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think why you start to see it tip towards one direction over the other is because like when you live in a patriarchal society, like both like men and women both get patriarchal programming.
Yes.
And you know, women are by and large like not regarded or taken as seriously as men in the like grand scope of the world and through the media's like narratives.
Yeah.
And so when a you know, a sign at birth female person transitions into anything else that they want to be, like they are more so, I think, laughed at and dismissed, right? Like as women.
Yeah, it's not even. Nobody's even looking.
Yeah,
like it doesn't care.
They're just like, okay,
because that's
okay.
Nobody
crazy,
ever
you know what
cared. I mean? Nobody ever cared when I was like, I want to play Game Boy and I want to have a boy bike, and I was like, and what it was too is like all the cool stuff that I got, like all the cool childhood stuff that I got, like was from my dad, not thinking about that I was a girl. Like he was just like, this looks like the coolest thing, so he would get me things that would traditionally be considered boy things.
Yeah.
Because he just thought they were cool. He didn't think about them, like, and he's definitely not, like, a very liberal thinker. He's not, but in that regard, he was like, I don't care, like, you're a kid. Like, he saw me as a child, so he wasn't trying to make me a woman.
Yep.
And, like,
good.
Good. It's great. Thanks, Dad. Love my Game Boy. Fucking love Game Boy. Happy Father's Day. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for not gendering me. But then, there is that aspect of, like, I feel like I always got to do any kind of gender bending, anything I wanted, because I was traditionally female and nobody, like, it wasn't a big deal that I wanted to be a tomboy. Like, sure, girls want to be tomboys.
Right.
But then with...
So the opposite side, you know what I mean? Yeah, so, like, it's totally makes sense why, you know, women who are historically, like, suppressed and dismissed for, like, their viewpoints that, like, they're looking at the lens of, like, oh, this is still that person, and so therefore they're dismissed. Whereas, like, the men, when you're assigned, you know, male at birth, and then you transition to whatever you want to transition to, they're now looking at through the lens of, like, you're a man who is failing at being a man, and you're supposed to be running the world with us, and you're supposed to be tough and strong.
And you're like
big.
a traitor. You're like a gender traitor.
Yes, straight out the gate. And, like, and it's fear. It's literally, like, it's all fear-based programming of just, you know, it's transphobia, it's homophobia.
Yes.
It's all that stuff. So to bring it back to, like, what we're talking about, where does that come from, or, like, how does that affect people who are born, you know, male? Like, it's in everything. I mean, it's like, it's literally commercials.
Do you see
TV
it,
shows.
like, when, like, was there a point where you were like, I see it? Like, because I know, like, when you discover something that is running, when you discover a program, and then you fucking start seeing it, and you're like, that's a nightmare! Like,
well, I'll tell you what.
Do you see it?
We saw, like, a good thing. There was a good thing that they showed us in school, in high school, in, like, health class, and it was called, like, The Tough Guys. And guys was spelled like Guise. And it was literally all about this. It was literally all about this sort of, you know, pathos that's gone around that's just like, you know, you gotta be tough or else you're not a man, or else you know what I mean? Like, you gotta carry it all on your way. Yeah, and so it was all about, like, fighting, like, why fist fights happen in the hallway because of, like, egos kind of at battle and stuff. And not phrased in those ways, but that's just the general vibe. I don't know, I was in high school. But that kind of started... So as they started to talk about those things, right, like my whole life, you know, I have always felt, so I had an older sister.
Yes. Who,
you know, same thing, grew up in the same environment as us, and she was very tough.
Yeah.
And she was like the, to me, always like, you know, what you consider like a bigger brother. I was like, my older sister was my older brother.
Yeah.
Like, she used to, like, slap me around and, like, you know, was very, like, physically aggressive with me.
And where we're
I would not return that.
There is, like, you gotta be.
There's a history of violence.
You gotta be kind of tough.
There is just a history of violence that permeates everything, and I don't want to say that like it was like terrible all the time.
I think every state, every region, every place has like that running through it. Yeah. In a way. Yeah.
Yeah. In working class neighborhoods by and large, you know what I mean.
Working class neighborhoods.
We're not talking about that today.
No, we don't have to talk about that. Although. We can touch on it, which we just did.
Yeah. So, history of violence runs through there. And so, anyways, my sister was tough. My sister was extremely athletic. My family, like, my dad is extremely athletic. And she just, like, got that from him,
yes.
Right? And, like you said, like, that was her first child, and he wasn't thinking about, like, whether it's a girl or boy. It's just, like, sports.
That's our kid.
I got someone to do sports with. You know what I mean? So, like,
and what do kids like to do? I like to do sports. Let's do sports. Yeah.
Yep. So, she played every sport all year long.
Wow, really?
Literally, she played
Holy
basketball, volleyball, softball, and she played softball during school and over the summer. 4 seasons, always playing, super tough, super athletic, super strong. So I never had any illusions about like how like women are inherently weaker than men or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I had
all of your
I was getting shit kicked out of me by a woman.
Girl on a regular basis.
Yeah,
so
and
I
like
don't know.
and like a lot of guys in the neighborhood like were intimidated by it.
Yeah.
Because and like good for her. But
yeah, no, that was your reality. That was your lived experience.
And so then I think naturally too, because I was presented with essentially toxic masculinity coming from my sister.
Yes.
I didn't want to be like that really, right? Until puberty and it becomes a whole thing. Then the masks start building.
Well, and then you have it becomes this like
thing. Yeah, it becomes the tough guys. Yeah.
It becomes the tough guys.
The masks. Literally.
The masks.
So yeah, it's just that's my lived experience. It's just like I never had those illusions of like all women are this or all men are that. It's like I knew from birth that like it varies.
Yeah.
Like the
it
toughness
depends.
will vary and that that's not what locks you in. That's not what locks in your stats,
No.
So yeah, as I grew up, I kind of sort of just, I think, naturally, only looking back now, I'm like, okay, I was just sort of more drawn to the feminine energy, and I was drawn to the feminine energy people because, like, the masculine energy in my household was very oppressive to me. And so I became more, I was very close with my mom, and my dad, again, like, love sports.
Yes.
I played sports growing up. I tried. Like, I did it all.
Yeah, and like, when you're young, playing sports is actually really fun.
It's foundationally great for everyone, honestly. But yeah, it became the thing where it's like a lot of pressure was coming to me to be really good at sports when it was like, but she's so good. Why should I have to be good?
Yeah, like, you're an art kid.
Right.
I'm looking at you and I'm like, you're art kid. Like,
well, now you can look at me and say that. But again, I was masking. I was wearing the shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was trying to figure it out. But yeah, I always felt the need, and this is probably more what we're talking about, right? Like the male shame and like all that stuff, like because you're supposed to like be a provider and all this stuff, and like so I just felt like I was supposed to just make everyone around me happy.
Yes, as you do to survive.
Yeah, and like now hearing all this stuff on the internet about like the different codings and things, it's like that almost kind of seems more like the feminine thing you were talking about, where it's like you're supposed to be taking care of things behind the scenes.
It is, yeah.
Because it was way more of a behind the scenes
even as you're
thing.
trying to be in the masculine program, you are doing it in a feminine way because that's the coding that you identify with.
Yeah, that's just
that's what you were like. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And I was friends with a lot of girls in high school and middle school, and I was like the person that like I was an AIM bot. I might as well have been Smarter Child. Like
I might as well have been Smarter Child.
Look, behind the curtain. Guess what, everyone? This is the official announcement. I'm Smarter Child.
I'm Smarter Child.
But no, just people would like come to me with their life stuff. Like not people, but girls specifically, typically.
You do, yeah.
And
Aquarius.
so, yeah, right. And so I was just like talking, and I was talking to plenty of dudes too, but I just like, I understood. So when you're like, when did you realize?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of realized in middle school when none of the boys knew how to act around the girls, but I did. That it was like, to seek the attention that they're trying to obtain.
I got some different code running here.
I was like, all you gotta do is stop being stupid.
They don't like that.
Yeah, they can't tell that they don't like the thing you're doing. Stop doing that, and they'll talk to you, or just talk to them like they're a person.
Similarly, my coding for men, because I love boys and I love girls. I love my boyfriends. I love my girlfriends. I love being able to have my guys and my girls. They don't have to be separate. They can also blend. But like, there's a way that
and the thems.
The thing that I like and the thems. Yeah, that's true. What was I gonna say? Oh, and the thems. Growing up, it was the way to get along with boys was like you just got to be gross and. You just gotta be gross and dirty.
You let loose.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. You don't have you just gotta be like you just gotta be fucking weird and gross.
Yeah.
It's
easy.
And and they like that's fun.
Make fart jokes.
Yes, make fart jokes. And it was never, but that was the other thing was that I would get in spaces with men sometimes and I could tell some of them would be like, oh yeah, she's our friend. And they would see me as a person, and they would treat me like a person. And I would get down with them on boy humor, but I wouldn't. There was always a level where I was like, oh no, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not like that.
Yeah. I'm still a girl.
Yeah. Like, I still run a lot of feminine programming, and I still have a vein of empathy that some of you don't have or haven't. I shouldn't say don't have, because I think everybody has it. but has not. You turn it off almost sometimes when you're all together, and I would always have to be like, remember, like I always felt like I was like some kind of like Mary Poppins being like, remember feelings, and they would be like, right. Yeah.
And you provide a lot of value
yeah.
to those social groups, like seriously.
But yeah, similarly with like it's like stop being an idiot. With men, it's like be an idiot.
Yeah.
Just for fun. Like we're not stupid, but we sometimes
just let loose.
Let loose. That's a better.
Shut off the voices that are telling you to, whatever.
Yes.
And like, arguably, maybe, I don't know.
I think and that's what I think is the not the solution, because everybody's problems are different, but I think that's what we're striving for, and that's what brings us into a more harmonious existence with each other and ourselves, is striving for that balance, striving for that masculine and feminine balance, because everybody runs both masculine and feminine energy. It has nothing to do with gender at all.
Right.
It's there are things, and I think the other thing that we all need to do for ourselves is define like what really is like masculine energy, what really is feminine energy.
Yeah.
And I think they've been distorted, because like masculine energy isn't about control.
Yeah.
It's not about power. It's not about violence. Like those things arise.
It's not about your genitals.
No, it's not about your genitals. More like masculine energy is like protecting and like safety and like.
See, I don't even know. Like,
you don't think?
No, because I think that both genders have codes for protect. Like, I don't know. That could.
You think they all have their specific codes, but they're expressed differently?
I think that you could replace male or masculine or feminine energy simultaneously with the things that you just said about being like a caregiver, a supporter, that's
because
true. It's just different. It's different styles.
So it's all the same themes.
I feel like masculine energy exerts itself in the physical realm, whereas feminine energy is more mentally.
That's true.
Like,
is in the ethereal.
Cooking up the plans
true.
and the connectiveness.
That's
of
true.
It all.
That's a good. Masculine is more 3D.
Pushing,
is in the physical
and,
realm.
And,
yes.
Shoving. And,
but it's all the same for the same. Towards the same.
Providing or caring, like you said.
Well, and then in the feminine way, it's like, coming up with the things and mapping them out and like. But both serve the same purpose, providing.
That's what I
protecting,
mean. Because, like you said, they're one and the same. They're not two separate things. It's the heads and tails of the same coin. Mm-hmm. The anima, the animus, if you're a big Carl Jung guy.
The anima, the animus.
Read into that. That'll
No, I love
say
Carl
all
Jung.
of it.
I love Carl Jung.
Yeah.
I should actually read some Carl Jung as opposed to, like, the sources of people who have read Carl Jung.
Yeah, 100%. I have a ton of books I can lend you.
Yeah. Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
But, yeah, anima, animus specifically states exactly what we just said. That, and it plays into the whole two-spirit thing from, like, indigenous cultures of just, like, there are two spirits, and they will manifest, There
are two wolves inside of you.
Exactly, but there's also, like...
And they're both gay.
No. they're both gay as well. No, but they're and they are out. What were we talking about?
We were talking about animus.
Yes.
Sorry,
No, it's okay. Specifically touches on that, where it's just like there's two spirits, but also posits that like there is an exact like reflection of you, and I feel like I found mine in Mish. Like,
yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Because she is
you guys
masculine
are
coded in the exact percentage amount that I am feminine coded. That's what I feel like why
goals.
We're so...
If it's not like Pat and Mish, I don't want it. Honestly, that's what I say.
Folks, I gotta say, you should all have that standard. Because like
I was at their wedding.
It ain't worth it unless you got
really
somebody
not.
That
and some
invested.
people, and I went to a few weddings around that time, and let me tell you, if it's not like that, I don't want it.
If it's not like that, I didn't want it either. And so you just gotta know what you want.
Yeah, and you gotta be in. And I feel like both of you were baptized by fire. Before you had like looked at each other and been like, oh shit, let's go. There were things that you did.
Express.
Yeah, like you were like learning those fucking lessons like rapid fire inside of yourselves.
Because the ways that I was masculine coded versus the ways in which she was feminine coded really clashed.
Yeah.
The other inverse thing worked great, but like the other side of that coin, again, it's a fucking two-sided coin.
Yeah.
Like that was rough. That was South Side of Chicago versus Heart of Miami.
Yo.
Two very different ethoses, you know, especially when it comes to, again, like hard-coded gender roles. So yeah, but it's been great, and yeah, it's about the growing together. It's not about being perfect from the jump. It's about having that inverse energy,
and
so that
being
as it
willing
flows,
to be
keep
in
doing
that space. Yeah,
this is a double helix. Yes,
DNA.
Hope y'all understood that. Does
it make sense? I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense.
But let's talk more about shame.
Yes, I literally was just gonna say. So when I perceived it, when I perceived like the program of shame, and I think this is generally, I say masculine because I'm seeing it trending in masculine fellows.
Right.
And it feels like there's one more step that like, if like, not that I'm like, I need to tell you, but there's like one more step, but specifically for like men, it's because, and it's like a story of how shitty you are, but I also think the feminine energy is enforcing that story instead of like being like, no, we're not doing the story anymore.
Right.
Because the thing that would stop me from actually progressing was the story I was telling about how bad I was, which a lot of us have. A lot of people who deal with shame, the program of shame is I'm bad. I'm bad. And it's not like there's a separation between like sometimes I do things and I fuck up. Sometimes I do stuff and it's not the nicest. Like, sometimes you do stuff and, like, when we're human, we do stuff and we fuck up. Like, we're messy. Yeah. Human beings are messy. That's what makes us human beings. But there's a story that's being told that has to change between everyone, which is, like, men are bad.
Yeah,
because it's like, if
men
they
are trash.
all are, if they're, men are, exactly.
That's usually,
if they're all walking around, so if they're, like, so accepting the terms of the patriarchy and being like, oh, that's real, is different than being like, I'm bad, because it's not true.
Right.
But there's like this disconnect.
People.
Yes, exactly. There's this disconnect between like, well, if I'm a man, then I'm bad, right? And it's like, and I see them, I can see it like in their like confessions and the way that they talk about themselves, and like I can see them like splitting off, and it's like you're almost there, but you split off at the part where it's like you're still worthy of love, and you're still you're not bad because you're a man. Yeah. That's not it. That's not what it is about. But then there's the women and feminine who like really want to reinforce that they're bad because they're men. And I'm like, we gotta both.
Well, oftentimes those people
were
hurt by men.
Yes, exactly.
Extremely. And like, and so, yeah.
Afternoon all. Hi, Minecraft.
Hey. Yeah, so like, I think the shame thing can kind of manifest in both ways. Like, there's, for people who are a little bit more introverted and people who are a little less, like, you know, outward, I think that, yeah, that narrative really actually damages them severely. If they already have low confidence, if they already have low sense of self-value, and they're being told that they're trash, like, I guess at the end of the day, right, like, to try to quell the whole, like, you know, battle of the sexes or whatever thing, it's just, like, I think by and large, these conversations that are being had on the internet, and it's great that we're all connected on the internet like we never have been before, and like, but those conversations are happening surrounded by the, hey, we're all kind of waking up and generally realizing or trying to enforce that it's not cool to judge people based on things that they were born into, had no control over or otherwise.
Yes.
Right? And so nobody gets to pick what gender or sex they're born as.
Yeah.
And so, like, saying that any whole spectrum of the gender is trash is just bigoted, prejudiced bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's hateful rhetoric. Mm-hmm. And, like, it can, you know, like, it's no different than anybody else saying anything else. Other than the fact that men have had the existing power structure in their hands for so long. And that's why it is a tough thing to dismantle. Because it's like, we don't know what the world would be like if men hadn't been trash. Like, men have been trash.
Yeah, yes.
There are shitty, trash men.
Yeah, historically.
Right, but the shame, going back to the shame part of it, right? So there's the people who take it and they go, I am trash. I'm a worm. I'm a worm,
yeah.
You know, like, and all this stuff. But then the other thing that happens in this conversation is you get guys who say, not all men, right? They get to that thing, which is also a hot button thing for people to say.
Which is before you have accepted that it's like the
I would say
thing
that it's tied
before.
to the shame. I think it's
yeah,
the shame
because you have to
manifesting
go into the shame in order to move through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the hardest thing to do literally in the world every day. And it never, like, if you have a program of shame, which some people I observe people and I'm like, I don't think everybody has a thick program of shame. I don't think everybody's got it. But if you do have it, it is a program that runs. And until you can notice when that's running, you gotta go through it and know that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
In order to be where you are, actually, and address what is happening.
And shame is like any other emotion that's on the human spectrum. Like, it's not inherently bad. Shame is a tool to get you to grow.
Yeah.
You know, shame can be useful, but it's not in these large volumes that are being, you know, again, like, sort of
hurled and repeated and recycled and changed and, like, morphed.
Amplified by oppressive structures.
Yes.
You know, like, I can't go down that rabbit. But
Tentacle Man?
You ever heard of Tentacle Man?
He's Tentacle Man.
Don't talk about him.
Don't talk about him. Don't let him in. Don't let him in. Don't let him in. Yes.
He's already here.
Stop. I hate him. I hate him. It's a waste of time to hate him. He's still here. Okay.
Yeah. Going back to
shame.
Shame.
Going back to the shame.
So, yeah, going back to the personal experience, too, before I start getting, like, too zoomed out and saying shit that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
We're zooming.
Yeah, we zoom in. I literally have spent my entire 31 years... Or 30, because we're changing around this year. Let's go. But I've spent 30 years just literally every day, having piles of shame thrown into the fucking coal fire and just keeping it running.
Just continuously,
And because I thought, like, I had to. And part of that is religious programming. You know,
oh,
I
yeah.
grew up in the Catholic Church.
I was going to say
again,
Catholic?
Southside Irish Catholic.
Same,
Look
Catholic,
out.
same.
Hey, what's up? And that's not to say, you know, if you're religious and all, that's cool if that works for you. But, you know, the way that happened for me was not good.
Yeah.
And it just put these shame processes in because it was like, you were born bad. We had to wash you with water because you're a stinky little bugger. And
we had to wash you with water.
Yeah, we had to get you with the cool, you know, best water. And like, so everything you do is bad and wrong and you should repent and apologize to God for it. That's big. And then that's one facet. And then you get into the gender shame, you know, of just being like, you gotta, you know, you can't wear it. Like, I don't know, man. I've always worn really bright colors and like, I just like it. I'm an art guy. So I like colors. I like paint. I like vibrant things. Yeah. And so like, I've always been made fun of for that. I've always been made fun of for how skinny I am. Yes. I like growing up in where we grew up where like people fight for sport and shit like that. Like I was always super, super skinny, very small guy. Very frail, didn't have the typical like male body.
Yeah, when we met, you were lanky.
Yeah,
I would say lanky.
I was, yeah. And so like, I mean, I was like 90 pounds for probably 10 years of my life.
Whoa,
yeah.
no
like,
fucking
no matter how much
dude.
I ate, like no matter how much I ate, it just wouldn't grow. Yeah, and so yeah, like shame for that, shame for every choice, everything that I've ever like really wanted to do. Holistically from like the good decision making parts of my body has been like called into question and driven into the ground by everyone around me, and like I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And so
you're saying this, I'm like, that is so stressful.
Yeah, it was, and I was kind of a huge asshole for a long time because I was just like stressed out and at my wit's end and being tired of being called into question. And so like when I became, you know, my own person in high school, college, you start to like reinvent and figure out who the fuck you are. You know, I kind of went swinging from this, like, I'm a passive little, like, baby who has to mask in all these ways to, like, I thought I was like, I'm gonna just be this person. And it was the biggest mask I ever put on. And I realized that, like, being an asshole can, you know, or I didn't realize, I thought through observation of my environment that being an asshole could get you far and that could get you things that were good. Yeah. And it's a way to break through a door. Yeah. But it's not going to keep you in the room very long. Yeah. And, you know, like all the cliches out there, like you get more flies with honey than vinegar and all that stuff. True. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, but I just was so tired of getting nothing, being told I'm doing it wrong and then feeling like my results were indicative that I was doing it wrong.
Yes.
And it's like, I guess I should just try being a dickhead, you know?
Yeah,
like,
right? Like, this is the last thing that I haven't tried doing, so I guess I'll do that because I don't have anything else to do. And you feel like you don't have anything else to do. You're, like, at your wit's end because you're like, I can't be myself because that's wrong.
Yeah.
So I must pick a way to be.
And I have a fire, you know, like, I'm a fiery, like, I have a lot of passion. I'm
you do,
loud.
yeah.
I am literally an air sign. So I am full of air. I am like a bellows.
You are like a bellows. That is very accurate.
Yes. And so
very accurate.
I thought that me like doubling down and becoming this like guy was like me leaning into my true self. I guess it's just that fire that's in there, and it's like, turns out, no, dog, you're not fire, you're air, and air is combustible, and somebody set a fucking fire in you a long time ago, and you're a steady supply of air.
Been burning.
And I've been burning from the inside out for literally 3 decades. And man, I don't want to do it anymore. And like, this is like literally like a newfound realization. Like I said, this couldn't have been timed any better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I'm dismantling all those or trying to dismantle those things of just like who's really me? Who's like that little boy that's in there that's buried under all the masks and all that shit, and also like what value have we gleaned from the masculine programming over the years that we can hang on to maybe and get rid of the rest. But yeah, it's all shame all the time. Like I couldn't highlight one example other than just like it was consistent and relentless, and it was from every angle.
Same.
Yeah.
For me, it was always the eye watching me. I made like a meme of it once.
Yeah, that's why I draw eyeballs all the time.
And it's the meme. I'm gonna pull it up. Wait, hold on. It was me watching me and like critiquing myself because I wanted to be specific, because I wanted to curate the way that I was, because I had learned how to curate everything. I had been able to learn how to curate literally everything, and it was a sense of power that I felt. It was this. Can you show it? It was this. Can't really see it, but it was an eyeball, and it says me.
Yeah, there you go.
It says me watching me, but it was that big. Like, it was like that big, and it was always like, I'm watching everything that you do, and you need to do it the way that you want to be. And it was this like, and like, it wasn't anyone else. Like, it was, the programming was from the world. Like, the programming was from a world, I learned that who I was not good enough. I had to be something better and cooler and hotter and whatever was good, whatever I had, and it wouldn't matter. It would always move, because once I like achieved something, it would move, it would disappear, and then it would be another thing that I had to do, and another thing that I fucking had to do, and another fucking thing I had to do. You don't have this, and you need to be different. Always, even if I got the thing that I originally said, well, everything will be better after you get the thing.
Was it ever?
It was never better.
Yeah.
It was because I wasn't grateful for just being myself. But when you're running that program of shame, where like nothing is ever good enough when you're running a program of shame. Yeah. Nothing is ever enough. No one is ever enough. Nothing is ever enough. And it's just this like endless clown handkerchief rope that you're just pulling, and you're like, when will it ever be enough? When will I feel okay? And then I was like, and then the moment, because I was like, it's everything else. It's everything else. It's everyone else, and it's everything else, and I'm like, yeah, there are things that are perpetuating that story for sure.
Yep.
And you are the cause of your own story. You are the cause of your own shame.
Yeah.
Because it takes you to run it inside of you.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. There's gonna be people who try to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
And the society being like, you're not this enough. Oh, that's always gonna happen.
Yeah.
But the one that I was feeling was me being like, you're not good enough. You're not enough.
Yeah.
And then once I was like, oh, oh, it's like me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's me doing
Now
it.
I'm the oppressor.
Because I thought I was helping.
Yeah.
Like, you really, like, I was like,
It's
I'm
a
helping.
survival thing.
Yeah,
You
and
literally
it is.
think you're
and
keeping
for,
yourself
yes,
afloat.
Yo,
Yeah.
and you, for
And
a
maybe
time,
you were.
and when you're little, and when you're young, and you
Yeah.
have to survive in these environments, and you don't know any better at all,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for sure. For sure, it helps, and you survive. But then once you get clear, you then have to program a new program, and it's you.
Yeah.
It's your program. It's not anybody else.
Right.
But it was that feeling of like, I was like, something else. It's someone, and it's like, and it was like, no, you're doing it.
Yep.
So you gotta shut that. Let it. But it was more like, and it wasn't, I say shut that, but it wasn't like, it wasn't oppressing. It was like opening.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay. And it's like, you're okay. It's almost like taking
You're letting
off like a
butterflies
fucking,
out.
yeah, it's almost like taking off like tight pants.
Yeah.
Taking off
Let it all
like
out.
fucking getting that and like accept. Well, and then the thing for me was like, oh, I just have to like love myself unconditionally. That's easy.
Yeah. Well, that's hard as fuck.
It's
So
the
way-
hardest
way
thing,
I-
but it's like the best. It's like the sauce.
Yeah, totally. The way I look at it, like the lily pad to get from there to there is that there is, once you realize there's no right or wrong way to do anything, a lot of possibilities open up.
Minecraft said, I feel like for a lot of men, we don't have a lot of good examples of masculinity to learn from. It's mostly bad options to fall into. Self-acceptance is really hard. I'm still struggling with it. It is really, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I'll say it's like a cascade. So at first, it's really hard. And every single instance is like, oh God, okay.
Yep.
I have to accept. But then like once you do it and you do it again and you do it again and you do it again and like, and then it just becomes like second nature. But the first times where you really have to, and you always get an opportunity, which is so funny when you tell the universe like, I want to accept myself. It's like, okay, here, fuck up bad. And you're like, why? I thought, like, no. And it's like, here's an opportunity for you because you're going to fuck up throughout your life. Because, and I say fuck up as in like, we make mistakes. We make mistakes because we're people. You're going to do that even if you are your most realized version of yourself, which you already are, is the joke. But even when you are, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have misunderstandings. You're going to hurt people's feelings. You're going to hit a fucking pole in the fucking parking lot on accident. Like, you're going to do stuff, make mistakes. That's life. But it's always an opportunity to love yourself more, which is sick and also hard. But eventually you're like, oh yes, the warm acceptance and embrace of myself. Because at least if nobody else loves me, I do. Doesn't matter what I do. I love you anyway.
Yep. I think a big part of self-acceptance, or like where my journey started with trying to do that, was I started spending more time alone on purpose.
Good note.
Or like, and so obviously anytime we're not with people, we're alone, right?
Yes.
But you're not spending time with yourself always. A lot of times
That's true.
we're distracting
That's
ourselves
true.
from ourselves.
Distracting ourselves from ourselves with
Media.
literally every other thing
Yep.
that exists.
Every media. And I'm not talking just screens, kids. I'm talking books or
I'm
media.
not talking about
Literally,
just screens.
like,
yes.
people have been running away from themselves through various forms of media since fucking history existed. And so I started to, it happened for me in a weird way, where I started to like, I really had this expansive network of wonderful friends and like, maybe not even friends, but just acquaintances.
You really
and
do.
Talented people. I still do.
You really do.
But I had an even wider one
I guess
at some
I do
point
too, but
before I realized it was
you
untenable.
tell me about them, and I'm like, you got really cool friends.
I got some cool friends.
Yeah, you got some cool friends.
But yeah, so like, but I started to offload a lot of my own personal. I started to use them as a hive mind. I started to offload a lot of my personal shit into these like horcruxes of these people that were like
Horcruxes. Whoa, can you
Yeah.
say that one more time?
horcruxes of people that like
Whoa.
literally like and like literally like, okay, I'm clearly friends with this person because they are a mirror for this one side of my
That's some
personality.
self-reflection you did. That's some hot self-reflection that you did.
Yeah, it was hard, and so it was like, because I would get so mad,
Yeah.
tangibly and outwardly mad, not near them, but like
In life.
Yes,
I'm mad. I'm mad. Yeah.
They said they would do this, and
Oh,
now they're doing
oh my
that. Or, like,
God!
they were gonna do that.
Shut
And,
up!
like,
I know him.
yeah. And so it's just like,
I know him. I know
Get
him.
him out.
He's my
Get
friend
him
too.
outta here.
Yeah, he
And so-
tries to talk to me too.
yeah,
I'm
fuck
like,
him,
oh my
man.
god.
And I'm like, all this stuff, right? And so I realized that that was unhealthy for me, like,
Yeah.
you know, and definitely for them too. But like for me, I was like, this is not, something's gone wrong. And so it was like, well, you can just
Something's
like,
gone wrong.
it was like, well, why do you feel like you need to be with someone to do something? You know, like, and so I just started taking myself on fucking dates, basically. And
The artist's way.
yeah, it was like, let's go walk in the woods alone. And the answer was, why am I not doing this by myself? It's because it's fucking scary.
It is scary.
It's scary out there.
The void is scary. The void is always near, and it is scary.
Well, no, it was mentally scary, right? There's stuff we run away from, which I was like touching upon earlier, but like physically walking in the woods alone, you know, scary. You know, regardless of your gender, but then also like, yeah, like people who are like,
That's that program though. That's that fear program that I was talking
like,
about.
There's scary shit out there because
there
like
is, but
nature is
you
scary.
know when you're safe, and that's the difference. Is
And
that
when you're
the
living
world is-
presently, you're not exactly.
You know.
Yes, exactly.
So it's not because people will tell you that people will tell you and prescribe to you this is scary.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I will know if it's scary when I'm there.
Yeah.
I will not put myself in a but when I'm there.
Yeah.
So when you say like walking alone in the woods is scary, it could be, it can be,
Yeah.
but it can also not be. It depends on where you are.
There's just
it
risks
depends on
involved
where you are.
because you're isolated, you et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
People can see you better than they can.
Well,
you
and
can see
that
them.
and all that
Predators
stuff,
are
and,
out there.
But in all that stuff that you're saying, that's the fear program. It's
Yeah.
fucking remember. You're afraid,
right.
and it's like, okay, I can now, and especially now that we're adults, I can parse out. I don't have to run the scenario. I don't have to make myself afraid in order to be safe.
Yeah.
I will feel in my body that I am not safe if I am not safe.
Totally, but by then it might be too late.
That's the fear program.
That's why the fear program works, because that's just truth.
But when it's actually happening and not preparing, not making yourself scared
Right.
to do a thing where you don't even know if you're not safe
There's
yet.
just preparations that you can take.
Oh,
that
yeah. Well,
aren't
and that's
based in fear.
and you can, and then
Yeah,
exactly,
right.
you can be not afraid
can
while you're like,
understand
here's
risks
what should
and
I
not
need.
Be afraid.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like, yeah, so, and I learned the only way to learn that is by going out and fucking doing it.
That's true.
And so, and sorry, I don't know
That's
if I
true.
can swear on here or not.
You can, yeah. You can.
Okay. But yeah, so, and I learned by going out and doing it and taking myself out, you know, going to a movie alone, going to a dinner, you know, it's weird, folks, like to go to a restaurant and say, just one.
I did, yeah, I do that a
and
lot.
they look at you like you're crazy and they treat you like you're weird. And you are weird because not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that there's intrinsic inherent value in spending time with yourself in whatever way you want to spend time, and you don't need somebody else around to do the things you want to do and enjoy them always. There's stuff that's better with other people, you know, but like don't be afraid to spend time
I'm a big
alone.
alone time person. I'm a big like I'm just hanging out with me.
Yeah.
And yes, exactly what you said, like it is so valuable. The table for one hits me in my soul. Honestly, here's what I'll say. Something I realized when I went to England. So my friends got married in Ireland last year, and I went to England alone. And while I was out, and like, ooh, it was summer in London. People were out. They were drinking, they were schmoozing, everybody was together. And I had a realization. I was sitting at a bar, and I was like, oh, I'm not here alone. I'm here with all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, even when I'm by myself in my room, I'm here with everybody. I'm always going to be here with everybody. So and not in a way where it's like, we're all best friends now, but in a way where it's like, I am here with all of you. Like, and it's funny because I feel that more alone when I'm around, when I'm out, when I'm doing things. I feel more connected to everything when I'm alone.
To the membranes, to the tissue.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. I literally was like, oh, like it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because you think when you first start doing it, and this is what I thought, and I was like afraid, and the same thing. I was afraid to go out alone because I was like, I will be targeted. I will be taken advantage of. And that's a program that we run because part of it is to keep us safe, but we also live in the safest version of humanity that we have ever lived in.
Might not seem that way, but yeah.
It doesn't seem that way because we also know more than we've ever known, and having that knowledge is a curse. But we live in the safest version of reality, of this 3D reality that we have ever known. And when I am out and I'm open, I am connected to everyone. So if I was in trouble, I would receive help.
Mm-hmm.
If I needed help, I would get it. And that was so funny because when I was coming home from your art show, there were these two guys at the gas station and they were like, "Hey, do you need help?" And I was like, "Ah!" And I immediately like tensed up and I was like, No, I'm got it. And like, I actually was like playing it off like really like friendly.
Were you pumping gas?
I was pumping gas.
Okay.
And it turned out I didn't need help. I didn't pull up in the right, I didn't pull through all the way. So then when I tried to get the gas thing wouldn't go. And they were like, do you need help? And they were very kind.
Yeah.
But they were strangers and I was alone and I had that moment where I was like, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
But like, they're not gonna kill me, they're gonna help me. And I the reason I knew that is because I was like, okay, am I safe? And yes, I was safe.
They didn't feel like predators.
No, they didn't feel like predators. That was like the gas station that they hung out at and they never seen me before and they were like, "Hey, do you need help?"
Yeah.
And it wasn't creepy.
Yeah.
They were like, "No, we will help you out." And it was a very like, "Oh, you're a lady. Let us help you."
Right.
It still was
totally
very like
its own thing.
It was
right?
very like this is our gas station. Welcome to our gas. Like it was very like, "Welcome here. Do you need help?" Like don't let her pump it herself.
Yeah.
Like the very like they were doing like a thing, but it wasn't creepy. Like, and I know that because I've been alive.
You have to.
And I know when it's creepy.
No, you're good at it. It's
Yeah.
not just because you've been alive. It's a skill that you have to work on.
Yes.
Like you have to toe the line between like observationalism and I don't know, like
running your own program.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You got to run your own. You got to trust yourself. But before you can trust yourself, you got to get to know yourself.
Yes.
And the being able to determine whether someone's being predatory or feeling like you're in danger comes after all that.
Yeah.
You don't, because what you have before that is the thing that people fall victim to. Everyone who's a fucking, not everyone, but people are on the headlines of newspapers that are put out there to scare you.
Yes.
The people go missing. The people that like yada yada yada. Like, it's chaos out there.
It is chaos out there.
It can happen to anyone. So you can
out
never ever think it won't happen to me. That couldn't happen to me.
No.
It can happen to anyone at any time. And so that's the point. We're in danger just as much danger right now as we are any other moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like an airplane could fall out of the sky and kill us
and if
right
that's
now.
true, that means we're also the safest.
Exactly.
Because it's both and. In a universe full of chaos, it's both and all the time.
And if you learn to trust yourself and you know yourself and you can trust your stomach intuition, your brain intuition, then that's when you know when you're in a situation that you need to get the fuck out of your near person you need to get the fuck away from.
Yeah.
And
you feel it.
Yes, the feeling. But we can't.
You can't do that. Yeah, and then you can't do that.
You gotta get to know your self-acceptance. It starts with self-acceptance.
And it does
bringing it
start
back
with
to what
self-acceptance.
Minecraft said.
Schrodinger's danger.
Yeah, yo, that's a sick band name.
Yes, that's our punk band name.
Yeah, that's the
Schrodinger's
two-piece.
danger.
Oh my god.
Yo.
Can you play drums?
I will learn.
Yes.
I will learn.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Everything all the time.
I want to go back to something that Minecraft said about the not having good examples of masculinity to learn from. And that's totally true in media, right? And so I feel like when I meet men who have like a more like open-minded view of the world than what's hard-coded, it's usually one of two things. One, they had such a dog shit masculine, role
worst
model
of the
in their
worst.
life. That
worst of the fucking worst.
They had, and when you're like, well, there's no good example. Sometimes a bad example is the best example.
Whoa.
Because an example it'll show you what you don't want to be.
Yo.
And I will say that, like, I was only able to untangle all my wires and start to dismantle all these shitty fucking toxic things about myself because I was surrounded by even more toxic people that I related to. Not related to, like, in an empathetic way or like I don't know, not like related to like, oh my god, like that's so cool, he likes the same things as me.
Yeah.
But like in the way of like, oh my god, I can see how my choices, the way I process information and the choices I'm choosing to make will inevitably lead me down a path that makes me like that guy.
They were like a mirror that was showing you what you didn't want to be.
Yes. Everybody is. By the way,
everybody is a mirror.
Yeah, everything you hate about yourself, or you hate about the world, BT dubs, is what you hate about yourself in some way, shape, or form.
There is a more nuanced version of that.
Hit me with
what it is, and I covered this on one of the episodes, and it is like,
I love nuance.
It's great. People are mirrors in that it's not that. So when a mirror does, when you look in a mirror, you see yourself. You see a version of yourself that the mirror is showing back. We know because of, but you don't look like the mirror. Like, when you look in a mirror, you don't look like a mirror that's, like, if I look in that mirror, I don't look like this mirror. I look like me in the mirror.
Yeah.
How people are a mirror. It's not when, like, I look at you, you're my mirror. It's not because of the way you are and I'm seeing the way you are and that's me.
Yeah.
It's when people interact with you, it brings stuff up for you and you behave in a way. And depending on who you're interacting with,
their reactions.
Your reaction. So what you're seeing isn't like when I see someone and they're being selfish and I'm like, I don't like that. It's not because I'm selfish. It's because of what comes up in me when I come up with that
selfish
behavior.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
You aren't that.
So
yeah, you're right.
Not
right.
that.
Yeah,
it's not that I'm that.
And
it's
they aren't
that,
either.
What? No.
They're exhibiting it at the moment.
They are presenting a version of their reality, and it is either triggering something in me or not, depending.
Yeah.
But then also, people can be funhouse mirrors. People can project a reality into your space that is not accurate to what you are experiencing, and then you react in a way and you're like, why didn't I act like that? It was like, well, because that person is living on a completely different plane than you are. They're living in they're not understanding you whatsoever. They don't understand themselves whatsoever, or whatever, or they have a completely different understanding and you guys just don't. You're just
They're
not
playing
on the
a
same
different
page.
game by different rules than the ones that you're subscribing to in the current moment, and so it's not gelling. But yeah, so like examples can be bad examples that you look at and go, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Or it can be like, this person checks all the boxes for me that seems like what is right or true or whatever. And those are, like I said, like usually
and I
one
feel
of the
this way
two
when they're doing
situations.
that, and that is what I like. So I will now adopt these lessons and this frequency, and like that's kind of what like it ends up being, is like, as you tune yourself, the people that are for you like vibrate into your reality. Yep. And as you're tuning yourself to yourself and other people who are on a similar frequency that you want to be on, you tune to them, and then you're like, oh, and now I'm in this more expansive, whatever frequency that I was like, oh, I like that. I like what you got going. Then you're tuning yourself, becoming more of yourself, and then other people are like, hello, we're here too. And then it becomes like a harmonious song.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that like the positive male role model, and it's not to say that you can't be like a good dude or a positive role model and not be hella masculine or like super big and strong and like all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of examples out there. But yeah, I just feel like if you don't have a absolute rock star male role model in your life, or a complete nightmare human that you don't want to be anything like, that what you're left with is media. If you have a mid dad, if you got a mid dad or you got a mid uncle or some male role model in your life that just hits the status quo, you know, they get you fed, they get you whatever. Yeah. Then you're kind of at the mercy of everything else you spend your time around. Or if you got a dad, maybe he's a great dad, or maybe he's a great male role model, maybe he's not a dad at all. But if they work all the time, if they're working class,
I have to go to the bathroom.
Do it. If they're working all the time, if you don't spend that much time with your positive male role models because of the expectations society has for those male role models or masculine role models, like, then what you're spending your time with is everything else that you're choosing to spend your time with. And if that's movies, if that's TV, if that's comics, books, etc., like, there are way more shitty examples of how to be a man in those things, or how to be masculine in those things, than any human that you would interact with, honestly. And they, for some reason, like, we value those things a lot more than what is given to us in our homes or in our everyday life at work, or whatever we choose to spend our time doing, or whatever we have to. I unfortunately had to go with media. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And me too. Trust me. And like, I would say that I had a pretty positive male role model in my life. You know, I love my dad, and he's great in a lot of regards, but yeah, he definitely suffers from some of the same toxic male programming that everybody inevitably does. That's how it's designed. And he definitely, I think, probably holds more shame than anybody else that I know. And I've just got like the Diet Junior version of that.
Ooh, your dad.
But yeah, that's really what I'm saying, is that like, you're like, yeah, there's no good role models out there. It's like,
same Minecraft. My dad's super mid.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
I'll never watch this.
Yeah.
Ouch! No.
I know. I'm like talking about it. I'm like, oh, what is my dad? I'm like, no,
He'll never watch this.
He's
yeah,
like,
I try. I think there was, and that's another thing of undoing shame, is like you can be honest about your experiences. Obviously, if you have, like, if there's trauma, you don't have to share anything that you don't want to. But, like, for me, it is actually incredibly freeing to be like, yeah, my dad's mid. Because to be like, oh, a secret. It's a secret because if people know that my dad wasn't a, like, super good dad, then they'll make, and it's like, yeah, that used to be a fear for me where it's like, if people know that I don't have a good relationship with my dad, they're going to take advantage of that. Was this something that I was worried about when in my 20s? And people, and, like, romantic interests, that, in that time, yes. Like, if it was like, if a guy knew you had daddy problems, you, like, were, like, a target.
Yep.
Just saying. As a lady. But
I can corroborate
as I've grown, it's really important to share that thing with me, because I think I have made so many connections that are, like, heart-centered because I'm honest about my experience. So I've been able to make friends with people who both have really good dads and both people who don't, because they're like, ah, yes, dads. And I'm lucky in that I've adopted a lot of male friends who are you're one of them, who are, like, a beacon of masculinity in my life, where I get what I need from them.
You're using me?
Yeah, I'm using you. I'm using you for masculine affection that I'm not getting from my dad. No, but yes.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm down.
That's part of my male friendships, is, like, a lot of my male friends are nurturing. I have a lot of, especially my in real life male friends are nurturing. And, like, it's great. It's great and I love it.
I'm happy to be looked at as nurturing.
You are nurturing.
And you know what I mean? Because I feel like I lost the path for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah,
it's just, like, it's fucking hard out there for everybody. Period. That's everything. But yeah, when it comes to that self-acceptance, looking for role models, like, you gotta be your role model, man. And that's, like...
Yeah, there does come a point where you're like, I have to become them. Like, I have to become the one I need.
You gotta be the change you want to see in the world, you know, however you want to put it. But, like, we were talking earlier before we came in here about who I consider to be one of the perfect masculine role models that breaks the expectations, and that's Bob Ross.
Bob Ross!
You can talk Bob Ross,
yeah!
You can talk Fred Rogers, right? There are LeVar Burton.
Oh, shut up, I'm gonna cry!
Yeah,
I love them!
Straight up.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick fucking Stewart, you know, like, I mean, there's tons. There are tons. The reason why they don't come to mind when you think about positive masculine role models, because when you think about masculine role models, you're probably thinking Jason Momoa, you're thinking Dave Bautista, you're thinking of some football player,
Muscle Man,
player.
The Rock.
You know, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You know, and then so, like, yeah, and, like, stuff like that. You know,
Fred Rogers.
Fred Rogers, man.
That's
Fred
a
Rogers
good
is a
one,
positive
man.
role model. Bob Ross, we were talking about.
I love Fred Rogers, dude.
Bob Ross grew up in Indiana.
Whoa!
Bob Ross recorded all of those paintings in Indiana. And he was in the Marines. He was, I believe, a drill sergeant. You can look up all this information. I'm probably bastardizing it, but he was in the military and he was a drill sergeant. He yelled at people for a living.
Wow.
2 inches from their face. Like, demoralized them, degraded them, you know, in the way that the military conditioning requires. And after doing that for so long and being who he really is inside, who we've all seen, you know, he must have self-reflected in some way. He just said, you know, I'm not yelling ever again. I'm not yelling at anyone. I'm going to collect squirrels. I'm going to take care of little baby squirrels.
That's
and I'm
what he took care of baby squirrels.
He had, like, a squirrel sanctuary. He had a whole foundation that him and, I believe, his wife, like, started.
That's a
little
life,
Indiana
man.
couple, like, you know, taking little squirrels. And they took care of squirrels, and he painted pictures every day of his life on public broadcast TV, and with the softest demeanor.
God bless.
All he did was say, you know, you don't have to be afraid to fail. You don't have to be afraid to make a mistake. After years and years of telling everyone they weren't good enough and everything they did wasn't going to be good enough, he flipped the script and did it. And so...
And he knew better than anyone because it was his job to tell people they sucked.
And your heart is a muscle, and big muscles count.
And big hearts, and your heart is a muscle.
Heart's a muscle.
Gotta work it out.
Don't forget.
Gotta use it.
What's up, Doomwave?
Doomwave.
Doom.
All right, it's time.
What's the time?
It's time for pep talks. Would anyone here like a pep talk? It doesn't have to be on theme. It can be about something that you've been dealing with, or it can be about something that you are feeling. It can be about a general world thing. And Dr. Yesterday and I could both take turns giving you a pep talk. If not, we will give each other a pep talk, which we do regularly.
Yep.
But if anybody needs one,
let us gas you up.
We'll gas you up. We're pretty good at gassing. Every time we talk, we pretty much give each other a pep talk, a little mini pep talk.
Well, I do that with. I try.
Yeah, you do that with everyone, and I
that-
guess I kind of do that with everyone too.
It's like being a friend.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah, you can do it. You can.
You can do it. You rock.
I'll let the chat decide. Take some time, mull it
Yeah,
over.
take some time. Not to put you on the spot. We did have not last time. I think this was it January, February, March? In March, we gave our first pep talk to Liam, who's not here, but we gave our pep talk to Liam. It was me and Jess, and that was great. And it was great. It was the first pep talk we ever gave. Most of the shows were me and Jess giving each other pep talks. And they were great. They were great. But it was like, I was like, every time we were like, can't wait till someone wants a pep talk. And it was like, well, we're waiting for someone to want a pep talk.
Does it have to be consensual?
What?
Like, can I just give Minecraft a pep talk?
No, well, yeah, it should be it should be consensual.
It should. Oh,
it should be
Be.
consensual.
You're right. I don't know why
because we don't want to because Minecraft has been so active. Minecraft is actually very active in the Trident community, and I love that Minecraft is such a valuable community member and friend.
Definitely seems like they are into crafting their mind, which is cool. It's cool.
It's cool to craft your mind. I don't think anybody wants a pep talk.
Do you want a pep talk?
I would like a pep talk.
I get gassed up.
Yeah.
I hope that you never fail to recognize and realize how much of an inspiration you are to everyone in your life that is creative. You know, I won't speak for everyone, but I do know a few people personally that are inspired by you, me being one of them. And you really helped, and that's not just since you've been like a Twitch star. That was like when you were just with a little ukulele, improvising songs at the coffee house.
That's my past.
And yeah, I'm bringing it up. And so every stage of you reinventing and trying to make yourself cooler and all that, like whether there's inherent value in doing that or if it's a toxic process, like it worked because you keep getting cooler. And now that's probably programmed just on autopilot, so you don't have to pay it any energy or any mind. And like, yeah, you just have always been someone who's like, yeah, they're cool. Yeah, yeah. And like, you know, I feel like it took us so long to really connect because it was just like, I never felt like I had to. It was just like, I was like, oh, we're running parallel.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
in the same place. I was, you know.
It's funny that you say that. I have a lot of people in my life who are like, I feel like we're on like two separate trains, but we're like, hi.
Waving through the window at each other.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like back in the scene. But like, yeah, into adulthood, like, and not realizing I was an adult even at the time.
Yeah.
And just being like, oh, the like cool person from the scene is like playing the game I play on the internet.
Yo.
And I was like, nobody plays this game. Like that was like a shame thing for me. I was trying to get everyone I know to play Apex Legends, and no one would play with me.
And then I just started playing alone.
Yeah.
Nobody would play with me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the same thing where I was like, used to get so mad. Oh, nobody wants to play. To do the things I want to do. I'm like, well, I know one person who wants to do them. It's me. And then it was you. That's
and then
two
it was
people.
us. Yeah.
And now we don't. Neither one of us play that game.
Neither one of us play Apex Legends. Literally at all. It sucks.
But yeah, and so that's like just to say that like don't question or doubt yourself too much because like that served its purpose and it got you here, and here's gonna get you somewhere else that you can't foresee, and you just gotta. You know, stop trying to predict your character arc because
the universe
you're
just
in
keeps
it.
talking to me, man.
Yeah.
Literally.
You can also tell it to chill out sometimes. Like, hey,
Hey, you gotta leave. Stop.
hey, you gotta have time to.
But then
do
whenever
all
it
the
does,
things.
I'm like, talk to me.
Yeah. Talk to me. Tell me your name. So yeah, that's keep doing it. Just keep doing you in the ways that you do you, but also while making it more comfortable for yourself to be and breathe.
Yes. That was good. It's good for my soul. I believe you.
I do believe I'm dope.
I do believe I'm dope. I am the coolest person that's ever lived. No.
I am the greatest Apex streamer of all time.
I am the greatest. I am the greatest Apex streamer that has ever lived.
It's like, do you even stream it?
No, man. No, I don't. I don't stream Apex anymore. I don't. I used to.
Sorry,
God,
sorry.
3 years. Best random ever. That's me! Best random ever! My friend Dr. Yesterday.
I don't want a pep talk.
I am giving you a pep talk. So
Wait!
oh God, I'm just so proud of you all the time. Like, I was thinking about, so we're at this art show, right?
No.
And we're there, and you're just like handling the shit and doing the stuff and like belonging in a way that's like, because I think we like, when we're trying to do something, we want to belong somewhere, and not in a cult way, but in a way where it's like, I know that my skills are valuable and I just need somewhere to do them.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of us and our friends are like, I have a lot of really good skills and I need somewhere to do them. And you like, the fact that you were like, pew, like you were literally like, got it. And you like answered the call, which is like, I think when we're young, we're like, oh, I fucking missed it. Shit. And you're like, damn it, I missed it. The timing was off. And this was like perfect timing that you jumped on. Not even just like, well, maybe I'll help you. Like, you were like, no, I have skills. This is what I want to do. I know what I'm looking for. This is the perfect frequency for me. And you just like dove in and like completely in a way that was like confident, but also like expansive and helpful and like I said, like nurturing. And like, you're like, this is a space. This is special. And the way you regard things that are sacred for how sacred they are is like such an important skill to have, not even just as an artist, but like as a person. And the way that you like, you do believe everyone is the guru. Like, you do believe that you're getting things from everyone that you interact with. Like, there's no
Ownership.
Yeah, there's no ownership. And you've been just like repeatedly being like, get this ego off of me. Like, you're like, get it away. Like, you're very like, and you're like very intentional about like, and not that like we have an ego so that we can exist here on Earth. And you have an ego and you're proud and like you have pride, whatever. But like, that's not like you've been able to cultivate this presence that I've only seen grown in our like time, especially as like the time that we've gotten closer from streaming, that is like very solid. And I know you know what I talk about when I say like, it's really cool to have people in your life and meet people who are like really there.
Yeah.
And like you have cultivated a presence that is like really here. And I'm so proud of you. And I love watching you like when you're like, I'm gonna do it. And then you're like, da, 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 I'm doing sound and then I'm gonna do this. And it's just like, it's so great to see anytime you're doing it.
Thanks. Why do I feel like I have to have a counterpoint? I'm like, counterpoint.
Actually, you're wrong.
Yeah. Actually, I'm dumb and stupid. No, like, thank you. Just thank you.
You're great.
I'm bad at the
And I'm grateful that we're friends.
Yeah, same here. That's for damn sure, because ain't nobody out here, can gas me up like that.
They suck. No, everyone else sucks besides me, and I'm the best Apex streamer in the world. Friends who tell you you're great when your brain won't let you think it are the best. That something.
Should be a friend.
That's a friend.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
Anything less than that's an acquaintance.
Mic drop.
See ya, bye!
I hope for all of you that those are the people. That is actually, you know what? That is a way that I can tell my friends. I think sometimes we have relationships with people, and it depends, because sometimes you do have acquaintances, and there's a reason.
That's cool.
But when somebody's like, when somebody can see you, even in like, because we can only, I can only see my version of you. You can only see your version of me.
Yeah, right.
We're like infinite beings, so like I can only see, but like, it's like, I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh, this is almost lined up, like when you can see someone or someone can see you and you're like, you're lining me up, man. I trust you.
Right.
That's a friend. That is what a friend is, I think. A true blue friend.
Yep. A lot of people can do that way easier for other people than themselves.
Yes.
So if you can try again, spending time with yourself.
You can copy other people doing it, and then do it for yourself later.
Fake it till you make it, dress for the job you want, all those cliches just basically mean give yourself a little hope to run towards.
Tune to that frequency.
Hope that you can do what you're setting out to do, and just dive in the fucking pool. No one likes going in cold water, but when you jump in, you end up having fun.
It's true. Oh, it's really true. Cool. Well, everyone, that was our episode on masculine programming and shame. I think we covered a lot. I think we did a good job. Obviously, neither of us is like practitioners, and we're not doing an answers.
Not qualified.
We're not qualified. But this is something that both of us have been dealing with, and I wanted to talk about it because I love talking to Dr. Yesterday, and I love talking to my Galaxy Brain friends. We'll have more guests on here as we progress. Next show is on July 16th. July 16th. So put that in your calendars, 2 p.m. As always, here on the Trident Network, a 3-pronged digital entertainment network. We do YouTube. You can find all these shows on YouTube. You can actually, YouTube. You can follow Dr. Yesterday. Sometimes he streams Dr. Yesterday here on Twitch, twitch.tv.
That's correct.
/ Dr. Yesterday, spelled on how it sounds. Spelled how it sounds. And you can follow me too. I am, you know about me though. Well, I think everybody here knows who I am. C2.
Who are you?
C2. My name's C2 and I'm a Twitch streamer. Twitch.tv / SEE_TWOO. Trident Network. You can find our stuff on YouTube. All of the old Spark episodes are on our YouTube. So if you ever want to go back and listen to what we have done or what I have done on here, you can do that on YouTube. And we do podcasts too, if you like podcasts, and we have live shows here. That schedule is available in our About section. Thank you for coming to the show. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for hanging out, Minecraft. Doom Wave, Smokey, everyone else who is here but did not chat. It's never compulsory to chat. Obviously, I'm just gonna talk your ear off regardless. But thank you for being here with me and Dr. Yesterday. We will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.